Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I was chilling out here and I was looking online. I found an interesting article written about an interview that was done with Noel Foley at Ringside Fest with none other than Kevin Nash, good old Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And Noel Foley asked Kevin Nash, will the nWo go into the Hall of Fame? Which I thought was going to start a good little debate here on whether the nWo deserves to go into the Hall of Fame. Definitely, when you think about the nWo, when it first started off, of course, it was Scott Hall coming into WCW, followed by Kevin Nash within a few weeks, leading up to, of course, the Outsiders putting Eric Bischoff through a table on the outside at the Great American Bash, building up to the fact that they were going to get a fight. They were sort of promised that they were going to get one at the Great American Bash, but instead they were told that they were going to have to wait until Bash at the Beach, and of course from there they would take on Macho Man Randy Savage, Lex Luger, and Sting. From there, that's when the third man came out of the back after Lex Luger was injured. A lot of people thought that Hulk Hogan was coming down to make the save for WCW, but of course he would drop the big leg drop on Macho Man Randy Savage. The match would be thrown out, and from there, the New World Order would take over WCW, lighting it on fire. Although the angle ran for about 2 years, and maybe the nWo would have been more well remembered if it would have stopped, when Sting beat Hollywood Hulk Hogan at Starrcade, and definitely we wouldn't have gotten the split of the nWo with Kevin Nash starting up the Wolf Pack, and then having the war of Scott Hall versus Kevin Nash. I don't know if they ever had a match in WCW, but they definitely built up to it a few times, and it was a lot like Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy. It was a match that nobody really wanted to see. People loved the fact that Hall and Nash, were friends. People believed the fact that they were friends and really didn't believe that these guys would be fighting it out, and definitely that, Scott Hall would side with Hollywood Hulk Hogan instead of siding with, Kevin Nash and being on the road and being with him. But they couldn't really hold back Kevin Nash from being a huge star. Of course, he would go on to become WCW World Champion. But, in the period of this storyline that is going on, of course, you added Ted DiBiase as the 4th member. You added Virgil as the 5th. Of course, Syxx, X-Pac, would go in as number 6. And then, of course, you would get Scott Norton, followed by Buff Bagwell, Conan. Kurt Hennig would come along during a feud with the Four Horsemen. Stevie Ray, Michael Wallstreet. Just name after name after name, and I'm sure that when I look over a roster of who was in the nWo, I'm going to be like, damn, I really did miss some people. I think that, definitely the Giant should get put in there. He was a big name that did join the nWo, but he was a guy that was, on WCW. He got screwed by Hogan, and then for no reason at all, joined the nWo, was with them for a while, ended up leaving the nWo, going back fighting for WCW, only to turn on WCW and come back to the nWo yet once again. It never really made any sense, and of course, he would lose a match to Kevin Nash, kicking him out of the nWo, and then just showed up in WWE. I guess it was just him doing a job on the way out. If WWE ever wanted to put the nWo in the Hall of Fame, something first has to happen. If you think about that nWo DVD that came out just a few years ago, if WWE only would have held their breath and said, you know what, let's not make this nWo DVD this year, we'll wait till next year, they could have had Eric Bischoff, they could have had Hulk Hogan. Definitely that DVD, missed the mark. It wasn't one of their best bets. It definitely was an improvement on the DVD that came out in 2002, 2003. At the time, that was a good one, but I think it got watered down. But definitely, Hulk Hogan needs to come back to WWE, and I think that if they were going into the Hall of Fame and Hulk Hogan was a part of WWE yet once again, I don't think it would be this year. I mean, Hulk Hogan did go in to the Hall of Fame back at WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles, but you know, Scott Hall as Razor Ramon just went into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 30. Kevin Nash just went into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 31. I know that Ric Flair went into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 24, and then at WrestleMania 28, the Four Horsemen were inducted. So it's not a stretch that groups are going to get put in there. I think that Shawn Michaels, as well as Badass Billy Gunn, Road Dogg Jesse James, Triple H, and X-Pac will even get there. But I think there is a special mark that they want to be there. When they refer to Ric Flair, they refer to him as a two-time Hall of Famer, and I don't think they really want everyone in that group. And I mean, you get to a point where if Hulk Hogan and the nWo go in, obviously right off the bat you're adding Hogan, Nash, and Hall to that list of two-time Hall of Famers. You know, with Ric Flair, you got 4, and then, like I said, I think the DX is going to go into the Hall of Fame, and I think the nWo is going into the Hall of Fame. So that's going to add, X-Pac to that list of him going in there. I'm not far-fetched to think that X-Pac himself, Sean Waltman, the 1, 2, 3 kid, I think that one day he's going to get put on there. And you really want Sean Waltman to be a 3-time Hall of Famer? I'm not wanting to knock the guy, but I'm just thinking that's an accomplishment that I don't think WWE is going to want to give to him. He's very lucky that during the Monday Night Wars, he was fired by WWE. He ended up, going to hang out with his buddies in WCW, who put him into the nWo. Of course, Eric Bischoff would fire him, trying to teach a lesson to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to, start, getting their shit straight and start flying straight. But instead, he went and he signed, and they just, because Shawn Michaels had left because of his back, they decided to keep going with DX because of how hot it was. I don't really know if the direction DX went was exactly where they wanted to, because the night after WrestleMania 14, it seemed like they really wanted DX to be a heel stable. But within a month, they were like, everybody loves these guys, and you need to, get them going. I think that the nWo will go into the Hall of Fame, and I think you'll see guys like Conan, Virgil, and guys like that sort of, gravitating, saying that they should be into the Hall of Fame as well, even though it's only these guys that are going to be at the up on the stage, getting the plaques and getting the rings and things like that. But they'll be saying that, they were as much as a part of it. But when it comes down to it, when I think of the nWo and I think of the glory days of the nWo, it's only Hall, Nash, and Hogan. I don't even know if I would give X-Pac that honor of being there. I know that, when they brought nWo to WWE and Scott Hall ended up, having to leave because of his personal problems. They put the Big Show and they put, X-Pac into there, so he was a member of the nWo through thick and thin. But I think when it comes down to it, you just put those 3 guys in there. Maybe you have Hall and Nash, try to play with them and try to, get their way and get X-Pac into there. But like I said, I think there's going to be a day when X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Sean Waltman, and whatever else, the Lightning Kid or whatever else the names I forgot. I think he's going to have his day in the sun. I think he's going to the Hall of Fame someday. So we'll see what goes down with this story in the foreseeable future. But like I said, I don't see Kevin Nash going into the Hall of Fame 2 years in a row. I think they're going to put some time between this. There's going to be a day when Hogan's back in the WWE, and I see him going into the Hall of Fame game with the nWo. To sweet!